The one bad example I have is being kicked out of a music festival a week or so ago for no really good reason, and I still don't understand why. But for my time and for the effort, it didn't seem like a battle worth fighting, but it just made me curious as to why that was the case. In classes I've been instructed there are certain places that I shouldn't bother trying to get into, like the Ping Center. I've been told that we're pretty much off limits in shooting in the Ping Center, which part of me understands that people working out don't want to have their photographs taken, but neither do criminals coming out of a court case. So, not that our student athletes are criminals by any sense of the imagination, but it seems a little bit not quite right. And sadly, photojournalist cameras are big and they're huge, and just simply by our size, it's just intimidating. But I think the camera, beyond Photoshop and those kind of techniques, the picture, it's hard to deny what you see in a picture. But yeah, I think a photograph's just an intimidating process. Last year I had a guy photograph me for a week, and he kind of used me as a storyline in Montana for an issue, and it was intimidating having a camera 5 feet away from me the entire time. But I knew the value of it, and I thought this might be good for not only the photographer, but just good for people in general, just to see what happens.
And I mean, how does that same sentiment transfer to a university environment like this? Like you said, photographs don't lie.
Yeah, I think on this campus, especially since the Scripps College is so renowned, and the photojournalism program is so fantastic, you would think the administration would be more open to letting students practice in real-world environments and using them as tools to help them learn and gain better experience. What better place to do that than here and step out of the theory and step into some real-world experience? I find it very difficult that we have such a great reputation and such a great renown, but the administration, I'm not sure that they're totally backing us in their own actions that way. I would say, thanks for, having us and giving us the chance to grow. Thanks for putting the tools in our hand that we can use to go out into the real world. I would say in the same respect, those tools, it goes kind of both ways, that we learn in our own environment, and that's what we're taught. We're taught to do things and live it. And then when we're told, well, you can do that, but just don't point the camera at me, it's tough. It's tough. I think if we're going to live by that means of being open and free, we've got to expect that to be pointed back at ourselves. And the example I gave you earlier where someone was photographing me, man, I just detest being photographed. And it's a tough thing. But I can also understand when there's merit to it. And like this, for example, I find that there's probably some merit involved in this. And so it doesn't really matter what I feel like I look like today or how I feel in front of a camera, but I think it's worth it for your experience and my experience, because we're all here in the same boat. We're all here to learn. And if I was working here, I think I would want to be able to feel that same way, that I want Ian to sit here and make some kind of constructive effort that's going to be worthwhile to him, as opposed to saying, no, do it with somebody else because I'm not going to be part of it, but I'm going to tell you how to do it, but I'm just not going to be part of it. I find that to be a little bit, what's the word, contradictory. I would want the photojournalists to be given that ability to step into these environments and being able to do their jobs. I want the same access that any regular Joe has. Hopefully I can have other access as well if it means that helps the public. But essentially I want exactly the same access that any regular guy has. So that's what I'm looking for. I should have been able to go to a music festival and photograph. There's no reason why I was kicked out of that event. So in the same sense, there's no reason why I shouldn't go to Baker and do what I do, because every other student on this campus is doing that.